Yeah, I would say, like, I'll try and set it up so that you can, like, come back to it. Like, I just did an interview with another guy. He goes to the U of A as well. His name's Ryan. He's an undergrad. All right. Thanks for coming to my studio, Megan. Really excited to talk with you about your art. Hope you had some time to prepare and think about what we're going to be talking about today. And I hope you're excited.
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Okay, so do you want to just get right into the questions and see what we can come up with?
Sure.
Awesome. Can you give me a brief statement about who you are and what you do?
All right. Well, I am a graduate student. I'm currently, I guess, beginning my third year of studying painting at the University of Alberta. I'll be finished at the end of this year. I'm having my final show in December.
Okay.
So that's pretty exciting.
What led you to making paintings about YouTube videos?
Well, like in even in my undergraduate degree, like I was like I've always like been really interested in like creating like collages and like just searching everywhere for images to create images to paint from.
Right.
What led me to the YouTube videos, like it's something I'd always had like an interest in, just like a sick fascination with like people who take crazy risks.
Yeah.
Like I'd always had that, but like I hadn't really connected it to my work.
Okay.
But like through just like searching for images on the internet, like I would find just images that I found really visually striking. Like the first ones I found in like in this series were like the ones to do with the British sport of cheese rolling.
Right. Is there any sort of like underlying connection between that kind of like America's Funniest Home Videos, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like it's not just like specifically YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That was just like kind of what started me off on this body of work, but just like what it boils down to is just like an interest in exploring like why people would take unnecessary risks and like put themselves in situations where they could be injured or die. Like what would like lead a person to do that? Because it's not something that I do personally.
Yeah, totally. So what is your ideal self? And how do you achieve like the highest version of yourself?
What I would consider myself to be my ideal self is not like a perfect self, because I don't think that's really possible. Yeah. But like with regards to like my work, well, and really other aspects as well. Yeah. Like ideally I want to be like happy and content with where I'm at, but also still ambitious and like always like hungry for more, I guess. Right.
A lot of people work through their goals and ambitions and relate it to career and specifically to a skill set they have. But I find looking at your art and meeting with you and talking to you and getting to know you that it seems like a lot of your personal ambition is an internal process as it relates to the external.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, yeah, I mean, ideally I would like to be like successful like on a larger scale and make lots of money. Like, who wouldn't?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not something I don't need that to be happy. Like, like I want to have success, but like if I can create a painting that like I feel is successful in what it does, then like I am content.
How do you separate yourself from the work you create?
I think it's necessary. Like I'm like interested in creating works that'll hold like some universal relevance. Like I want paintings that like anyone can look at and get something out of. Like I kind of try to resist using like anything that's too personal to me in them.
I mean, if you look at a lot of the old masters, that's what they do, right? They never pick themes or images or people that are, well, I mean, some of them do, but a lot of them also will take like biblical or Greek god themes or ideas of war or famine or whatever. Like, they don't always take it to a personal place, right? So it's an opportunity for you to explore those themes and not get hung up on it.
I think you can't be afraid to make a bad painting. Like, and I think I'm okay with making a bad paintings. I've made lots of bad paintings.
Sure.
But I think like you just have to be open to that, and like every bad painting I made, I've learned a lot from.
And then also you get a little bit more comfortable every time with the idea of it not belonging to you anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, cool. Awesome answer. Would you say you're living in the past, the present, or the future?
I would definitely say that like I do my best to live in the present. Because like I don't think there's much point to living in the past, or really the future either.
Yeah.
Because like the future is just so unknowable. Anything could happen. Like we could die at any point.
Right.
So.
Do you find that the videos that you watch for your sort of inspiration for your art are very timely as well then, or do you go back and look at some older ones ever?
Yeah, like I just try to look at like basically everything I can, but yeah, like it's definitely like a recent phenomenon.
Yes.
Like people doing these sorts of things. Like 100 years ago, people weren't doing this kind of stuff.
No.
Like, and not that they had like the opportunity to either. Like now you can do something crazy and then have like people all over the world seeing it.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Darwin Awards?
Oh, yeah, I think so, yeah.
It's like this idea that as people evolve, they, the weak are weeded out or whatever. So the Darwin Awards is like this, I think it started as a series of books, but it may now be a website or something, but it's like all these people who kill themselves, intentionally or otherwise, for really stupid reasons. So it's sort of like you're referencing that in a way too, right? You're dealing like, in a very, very high concept way, you're dealing with like the progression of like global society.
Yeah, well, I think it's like for different reasons. Like for one, like if you're posting it on YouTube, like you want attention. Like you don't really care how you get it. You just want lots of attention. And I mean, like there's the thrill of it too. Like like cause sometimes you just like, I think everyone gets impulses like to do crazy stuff, but like, you're rational and you're like, no, that would be crazy to do that and would have terrible results. But these people just do it.
They just go for it. Do you find that in your personal life there are certain things that doing this kind of art has like brought you to your comfort zone at all?
I don't know. Probably not really. Like I think like I try to be like fearless in my paintings,
right?
But like in my personal life, I think I'm more like practical and logical.
Right. Cool.
Like it's a way to explore that side of myself.
Yeah. Yes. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, I guess, in a way, right?
Yeah.
With minimal risk to your personal well-being.
Yes.
Have you ever regretted stepping off the beaten path?
I think like there are a lot of other paths I could have taken that would be more like a sure thing, I guess. That it's like you would have like security and like financial stability. But like, and like, that would be the more practical thing to do. But I know that I would have been like really unhappy and unsatisfied.
Right.
Like, yeah, like it's a big deal to me to be able to like, pursue like, my creative side.
Right. And do you know anyone who has like, do you have any friends or acquaintances or anyone who is creative that haven't followed through and have told you stories of how, they wish they'd done what you had done?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's like definitely like regrets there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I chose to pursue it.
Mm-hmm. If you had a piece of advice to give anyone about like one thing they would need to do to just get started, like, do you have anything that comes to mind?
I mean, I guess it would depend like at what point in their life that they are at.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if you have a passion for something, that you should stick with it. And like definitely seek out people who are like experienced and successful in that profession to like help.
Sort of serve as a mentor or guide.
Yeah, like, well, like that's what, going to school does. Like then you're in contact with like so many people who are like experienced and like successful already.
Mm-hmm.
And like then like they will also tell you if like, okay, you really don't have what it takes. You'll find that out too.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, if it's something that's important to you, I think you should pursue it.
Cool. What is the difference between physical travel and mental travel for you?
I'm very into books and like pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a way to like travel to all these places and like worlds that like you'd never be able to like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, physical travel like would just expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to travel the whole world.
Yeah.
But that like I'm a poor art student, so
you don't have the opportunity right now to do that, right?
Well, I'll be taking a trip to Europe coming up pretty soon.
Oh, okay.
Which like I was fortunate enough to be able to afford, but like I definitely can't afford to go everywhere I'd love to go.
Did you ever go on any of those trips? Because I don't know if he's still doing it, but the painting techniker, did you ever go on any of his trips or?
No, I would have liked to, but then also I didn't have the money.
Yeah. No, I just asked because, like you said, you're going to Europe, and every time the fall comes around, and I think about that because I went on a few trips with him, and it was a good experience. But it's like you said, you're a poor student, so you're kind of like, this is the cheapest option I have, so I guess I either take it or I don't.
Yeah, like fortunately now I'm able to get a grant for it, but like before I wouldn't have been able to.
Right. So what kind of like if you're going to Europe, is it you're going to look at art that's related to what you're doing, or?
I'll basically just be looking at any art that I'm able to, like going to as many galleries as I can.
Gotcha.
And like I'll be like planning my own show very shortly, which is like something I've never done. So it'll be great to be able to like to just look at the gallery setups and like try to figure out what I want to do as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's more of a technical meeting for you, right? Or not meeting, but experience. Like you're going there just to see, like, absorb information. And like also to just see paintings in person, which is like I think so important. But like because I haven't really been able to travel, I just haven't had the opportunity to. Like just basically, what's in Edmonton. Why do you think we pursue the new and the novel?
Well, people get bored easily and like are ambitious as well. Like that's like what I would say for me. Like even if I'll find like one way to make a painting that I think is successful, but then like I would get bored making it the same way over and over again. I'd rather find a new way that works.
Makes sense.
And like I just think like there are always new things to discover. Like it's kind of unlimited.
It's funny you keep going back to like the word limitations or limitless, and I think, have you ever seen the movie Limitless?
Yeah, I have.
It's like that, right? You're opening yourself up to new things, and I mean obviously in that situation he did drugs, but the fact that he was able to like change something about himself and then look at something from a different perspective, he just got there faster. He got he got results faster because of like it's a movie, right? But
yeah.
Where can you expect to see yourself in the next few years?
Well, I mean, it's hard to know for sure, but like no matter what happens, I will continue to paint. And like I don't know exactly where my work will end up, probably and hopefully in like new and unexpected directions.
Yeah.
Like professionally, I'll apply for grants and like hopefully be able to show in galleries. And like I would like to work in a gallery in a curatorial sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have interest in going back to school? I know you already said you already been in school for like 10 years, but do you have interest in going down that like art historian route as well, or is it?
Yeah, no, not really.
Okay.
I think this will be it for me for school. Okay. I think like I've learned what I need to.
You know everything now. You're the master.
Yes.
You'll technically have that on your degree too, right? Yeah. Okay. So so let's talk some more about like the gallery system and stuff like that. When you think of that and like working with people, do you have any particular things you want to bring to that? I know those environments are pretty like organized, but is there anything that you think you could bring to that experience or?
Well, Well, I mean, I guess like I think I do have like quite a bit of knowledge of art now after like so many years of school. Like I think it will be something that I would be good at and something that I would enjoy.
Right. It's funny, a lot of people do their masters specifically to go into teaching. So why, I guess my question is why take I know it's like a loaded question, but why take a master's degree if you weren't interested in teaching in the long run?
Well, to sort of, I guess, help me figure out what I wanted to do in the future, like to develop all my skills. Like I have had experience like being a TA and teaching as well there. So I've had that experience. So like I will be able to do that in the future if I want to. But like mostly it's been about just developing my artistic practice.
Yeah.
Like it would have been like really difficult. Like after getting my BFA, it would have been really difficult to really develop it without this experience. Because like I just wouldn't have had the access to the space. And again, like to just having like people to mentor you. Like
Gotcha.
I think that was something I just really needed. Like now I feel more ready to like to bring my art to the world, I guess.
Yeah. I only did my undergrad, right? So I find it interesting hearing that from people who are pursuing their masters, because that's actually a very candid response. A lot of times people I found that they say they do their masters because they're like, well, I'm going to go into teaching and this is what I'm going to do. Do you think the internet is the future of exploration, and should we invest our efforts into online?
Well, I definitely think it's like it's one important part of the future of exploration, but I don't think it's certainly not like, well, like in art, like a lot of artists nowadays are choosing to go with more like technological ways of creating art, like video art and like all sorts of different ways of like utilizing technology in their art. So like that's definitely one way to push art forward, and I think it's very important. But I also think like some people have the attitude that like more traditional methods of creating art and like exploring like painting are a bit outdated. But I think like that's obviously I have a problem with that kind of attitude.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of doing both simultaneously. You're saying this is how art has been, and you know, I hate that expression, but like art is dead or painting is dead. Like you obviously don't believe that, because you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't, right? And so I did an interview with another gentleman, Cam Wallace.
Yeah.
He's an awesome guy, and he takes found photographs and makes them into something even, more special than that. So what you're doing with these videos, I find it's super fascinating because it's sort of in that same vein of, here's something that is not mundane, but something that we only look at in one way. And you're saying like, no, like look at this a little bit more closely. Like this has more value than the average person might think it has, or there's more to explore with that material than what, you know, maybe even the author intended.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So do you believe then that there's more to be done with digital media in terms of exploration?
Well, yeah, I just think that it's important that, you know, we explore in like all different ways, I guess, not to only explore in that sense. But yeah, to like, you know, find new ways of like, yeah, combining them, like the new and the old. Right.
You're pioneering ideas that I imagine there are other artists that do this, but you know, there's also quite a few artists that are very still attached to the very traditional way, and even, you know, postmodern thought of, you know, let's just dissect everything and break everything apart. I don't think you're doing that. I think you're in some ways you're celebrating this culture or this identity or ideation or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Well, I think that's all I've got to say.
All right.
I hope that you really enjoyed the conversation, and you know, I'd love to have another one sometime in the future, and obviously want to add you in, you know, build you into my roster of people who are, you know, in the local community. So I hope you enjoyed it, Megan, and that's it. That's all.
Thank you.
Else you wrote.